Hello, and welcome back to this is the second in a little series that I made of getting started with Reiki. So this is the second video, and the first one we talked about uh, thinking more deeply about your why for learning Reiki, and also deciding how much time you're willing to carve out for the kind of Reiki that you want to learn right now, making sure that you have some time set aside in your schedule and space in your life to learn a new thing, depending on how in depth you want to learn it. So in this video, we're going to go into the more specifics of why those whys are important. For example, if you're interested mostly in receiving Reiki and you don't really know what it is yet, but you've heard a lot about it, um, and you want to just like understand what happens during a session, you can probably find a short introductory course that's going to give you like a feel for what it's like, that you can see if it seems like something you really want to do before you book a treatment. You could even maybe, go online and do some deeper Googling, or there are plenty of books about Reiki that you could just read through to get a clearer idea of exactly what is entailed. So if you're a wellness professional, like a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, a nurse, or a talk therapist, and you want to add Reiki to your skill set, then you'll definitely want a more standard class that includes a certificate, attunement, supervision. You want to have a teacher available so that you can ask questions and be sure of what you're doing. And then if you're drawn to Reiki because you want like spiritual growth or deeper personal healing, you might find like a slower moving class, self-paced, that's more reflective and emphasizes daily self-practice. So your why is quietly pointing you towards the kind of experience that is actually going to be a good support for you. Now, once you've thought about that and decided, then the next step is figuring out what kind of Reiki class or teacher is going to work for you. I know that can be confusing because there's so much out there online, and that's why I try to organize them into the sort of main categories that I notice. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of a better framework to go on when you're trying to decide. So introductory classes, more like what is Reiki? Just like a quick introduction. They explain what Reiki is, maybe short meditations or a printable guide, a quick slideshow, something like that. These are the low cost, fast paced, and they probably have very little teacher interaction. And this is a great step, inexpensive, to, if you're curious and you just want to find out more what Reiki is. They're not going to teach you how to do Reiki. They might show you quickly, but they'll just give you, it's better just like for getting a feel of what Reiki is and seeing if it resonates with you. Now, before we go into the fuller trainings, it's helpful to know that all Reiki traces back to its founder, Mikao Usui, who started Reiki in the early 1900s in Japan. As Usui's students, as Usui's students started to branch out teaching worldwide, Reiki itself branched into different lineages according to what each teacher started switching a little bit from the original teachings. So the main kinds of Reiki that you see out there today are Usui Reiki or Usui Shiki Reiki, and this is the more westernized form of Reiki. And then you have Jikiden Reiki, which is known as a more Japanese style. And then branching out from the Usui Shiki Ryoho, the more Western styles, you'll see like Usui Tibetan, Holy Fire, Karuna. These are sort of evolutions of that practice, adding in new spiritual or meditative elements, more symbols, etc. Now, each of these channels the same healing energy, the Reiki energy, but the difference is just in the style of teacher, the exact content of the class. It's more like a teaching style and slightly different elements, but the main idea is the same. Now, about lineage, some people care deeply about that, and they want to find a teacher that's as close to the original teacher as possible. Others don't care much about lineage. They just want to find a teacher, maybe that's local, that they really resonate with, that they like their style, that their classes are convenient, and that's the most important thing to them. So it really, I wouldn't say one is better or worse. I'd say the one that resonates with you is the best, because that's how you're going to learn the best. You're going to stay interested and enjoy the class, which at this stage is the most important thing. So the standard Reiki teachings class levels 1 and 2. This is where most people start once they've decided, yes, I want to learn Reiki. And level 1 will usually cover like the Reiki history, the Reiki principles, how to do a session, hand positions, how to do a self-treatment, will include an attunement. These are the basics, and they vary a lot from teacher to teacher. But as long as you find a teacher that has these basics, the history, the principles, how to do a simple session, the attunement, then the next thing to pay attention to is the class and the teacher. So when you see somebody advertising for Reiki online, do you feel comfortable and grounded with that teacher? Do you know them, or do you get a good vibe from them? Is their class in person or is it online? Is that important to you? Either can be okay. It depends on your comfort. Are they offering ongoing support? Is there a 21-day practice? That's a standard part of the Reiki teaching. Is there a standard 21-day practice afterwards, and is that supervised? Does the teacher emphasize structure or more intuitive training, or is it a combination of both? So I know there's still a lot of variables there, and if you have questions, you can ask me, leave a comment, right? And we'll try to break it down even more. But as long as they have those basic ideas about first level Reiki, and you like them and you like their style, this standard foundational Reiki class is going to be the best option if you're serious about integrating Reiki into your life personally, or if you want to offer it professionally. Now, you're going to see there seem to be a lot of these sort of like more fast track, almost multi-level online programs. And these are the ones that are offering like Reiki 1 all the way through master certificate all at once. You can do it in a weekend. Sometimes it's very inexpensive. They can include a lot of information, like all the Reiki materials, then extra like guided meditations, or how to do a group Reiki session, or even scripts for what to say when you're doing Reiki with a group, etc. The thing is, they may lack like true mentorship, personal feedback, and it's great if you want to move fast. I know, like if you're very curious, like what's Reiki 1, what's Reiki 2, what's Reiki Master, like what's all this stuff, then you want to have it all there. I think it's a great option because it's not going to be that expensive. But that learning, like if you go through all that stuff in a couple of days, it's not the same as like learning and embodying. You must do the practice for yourself, the meditations, and integrate by practicing with other people. So now check on some of these classes, because I don't know, there may be really good supervision with a teacher that you really resonate with. There might be plenty of supervision and all that information. I don't know. My gut instinct is that just if you take it, make sure that you're not like overwhelmed by all that stuff, and that you have a way to settle in and actually learn Reiki before you learn what to do with it. Once you've learned Reiki and you're feeling comfortable with it, you've been practicing for a little while, there are these more like theme or application of Reiki classes. And these are things like animal Reiki, hospital Reiki, Reiki for abundance, or Reiki for relationships, psychic Reiki. Um, and these are inspiring ways to grow your practice, and they're fun. You want to like learn more about what to do with Reiki. I just want to make sure that you check, because a lot of these kinds of classes, like I said, they're going to be specialized. They're not going to teach you the fundamentals of Reiki, so it's not going to really do you any good to apply Reiki to something if you haven't learned how to do it yet, right? Now, next. There are classes out there that are almost like mixed modalities. So it's like you'll see all the words like Reiki, singing bowls, crystals, tarot, pendulum, all these things. And these are wonderful complements to Reiki. I probably say this way too much, but I just want everybody to know that those things are not Reiki. They're separate systems and they require their own learning. So you need a proper Reiki training to teach you Reiki, and then you learn, say, sound healing. You learn sound healing, and then you learn to put them together, okay? Oops, what am I doing? I got lost in my place. Now, you might see out there courses that sort of mix Reiki training with like coaching or manifestation work or like business mentoring, etc. And these can be great for like integration and ongoing support, but just be clear up front if it's like a Reiki class to learn Reiki or if it's like a more like a coaching container that happens to include Reiki. So, as with all of these, if you see something that you like, but you're not 100% sure, listen to this video again and go through the points and just make sure that you have it all straight. What is the lineage if that's important to you? How much supervision is there if that's important to you? What are all the other things that might be mixed in? And with all of those things, are you actually learning Reiki too? So, when you are choosing your like Reiki path, just remember again your why. That's going to give you your direction, and the lineage and the style is going to give it more of like the flavor, the personality, the way that you're learning in the style of Reiki. And then your teacher relationship is going to give you more depth and stability to your practice. Okay? So I think in the next video, I am going to tell you a little bit about the kinds of classes that I offer. There are a couple of each of these styles, but I'll do that in the next video. But in the meantime, in this one, if there is something that I didn't quite cover, if you have a question about a specific class that you saw or something that I said isn't quite clear, make sure to leave me a comment, okay? And I will either reply or I'll make another video. Okay. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.